देवीना मेहरा से बात कर रहे हैं निकुंज ऑन द आउटलुक ऑफ 2022। आइए क्विकली कॉन्वर्सेशन सुनते हैं।
Today, as you know, I never make nifty projections, but it looks like a pretty decent year ahead if you look even in terms of the headline numbers as we sit today. I mean, given the news on virus and this and that, one never knows. But as I've said earlier on your channel also, that normally that, what's the apprehension that will there be a big crash? And normally the track record of any market usually is that big crash happens when you are very far above the trend line. So while we've had pretty decent 2 years, if you go back further, 2019 was not great, 2018 was actually a down year. And even if you look at the 10-year period from 2010 to 2020, you were up compounding only at about 8.5%, which was the fixed deposit rate at that point. So you had that room, you were very much below the trend line. You're still not at the trend line, let alone be very, very high. So that big risk is not there as far as the headline numbers for the markets are concerned. There are risks elsewhere, which is more to do with the macroeconomic front. I mean, I see risks on currency, inflation. Those risks are there for India, and in different ways globally, at least on the inflation front, for the first time in a very, very long time, the developed markets have had to look at inflation. Otherwise, inflation was a background number for them. It of course, for the emerging markets, that is not the case, or for India, that's not been the case. Inflation comes into focus very often. But where we are today, those would be the things where I would keep my eyes on the macro numbers. And of course, I mean, within India, even if you look at last year, I mean, this year, which is ending, sectorally itself, you will, let alone, I mean, in terms of stocks, the dispersion is very, very high. You look at the FMCG index, that's up 8% for the year. Nifty Bank, I think, is about 11% or so. Whereas you have a bunch of sectors like IT or metals and some other commodities and materials which are up 50, 60, even higher. I mean, I'm talking just the sectoral indices. So it depends how you did and how you will do more. So I think in 2022 will depend on where you are exactly in terms of sectors and companies.
One be according to you, and if I have to take that trend line theory forward, I'm sure for IT and for metals, the trend line has to normalize towards the downside rather than on the upside.
See, IT in the middle of 2020, we made that call that if you remember, that was a time when FMCGs were greatly in favor. And if you look at it, it is not just only the trend line. You have to look at many things. I mean, my call was that you had this other sector like FMCG with reasonably predictable returns I mean, not returns which are as high as FMCG, but pretty decent and predictable in a very, very uncertain world. And yet the valuations were a fraction of what FMCGs were trading at. And that was a relating story. But now, of course, see, IT, one important thing I spoke about currency. So let me just, talk to you a little about that. I mean, this is just for the benefit of the viewers, I would like to say that in macroeconomic variables, when you look at from the government side or from a central bank, any policymaker side, what would you like to have? You would like to have high growth, you would like to have low unemployment, you would like to have low inflation, you would like to have low interest rates, you would like to have a strong currency. So you have all these objectives, but as all of us know, it is not possible to pursue all those objectives at the same time. So it's like trying to stuff 5 things into a box which can contain only 3 things. And when you stuff everything, something pops out from the other end. So what is happening now is that the RBI has decided to focus on growth because the economic growth, and especially below kind of the top tier, is still hurting. I mean, if you look at even in terms of the citizens, in terms of whether they have jobs and what their incomes are, that below that upper tier, the situation is not so good. So you have a wholesale price index which is at high of, I think, almost about 20 years or 15 years. And yet you have decided to hold on to the interest rates. It's not yet shown up in the consumer price index, but that happens with a lag. So you've decided to hold on to the interest rates, and people sitting in India think that we are holding on to the interest and the whole world is also not raised interest rates, because for us, the only two markets we look at are India and US, and Fed has not raised yet and India has not raised yet. But if you widen the horizon, you will, if you look at all emerging markets or the rest of the developing world, central banks have raised interest rates not just once, but twice, thrice, even 5 and 6 times. For from a Brazil to a Russia, you've seen rate hikes everywhere. So India actually is a outlier in the emerging market fact that you've decided not to raise interest rates. So you have high inflation, you've decided not to raise rates even though your peers have. So there's going to be strain on the currency. And the third factor is that if you look at the long-term chart of the rupee against the dollar, you either depreciate slowly, that 2 to 3% every year, or you have periods when for years it's in a band and then you have a sudden step down when the rupee depreciates. And we've been in this 73 to 75, 75 and a half band for a long time. So all these things point to a possible strain on the currency. I mean, this is, all things are only in terms of probability, but I would say that this is a year where I would expect that there could be a rupee depreciation. So again, therefore, it is a good place to be in an export-oriented or an import substitution kind of sector. So IT services, and not just IT services, actually, there are non-service companies also within IT that we like. So IT as a sector, we continue to like for now. I mean, as I said, I never make a one-year projection, but metals, yes. I mean, while metals were, and for that matter, power and energy were great through the years, through the year, and we have ridden that. But that story kind of started to taper off a little while ago. So I mean, right now I would say they're like more market perform kind of sectors rather than be very, very great. But this continues. You know, the IT continues. There are, as I said, selectively, you have to look at export or import substitution sectors, particularly in line of the PLI scheme. So you will have some pockets in chemicals, some pocket even in auto and auto components, you know, not though, I mean, we don't like the two-wheelers, for instance, but there will be some pockets there. So you have to now be choosy as to who will benefit.
ठीक है, बिल्कुल। तो ये एक स्पेशल कॉन्वर्सेशन आप सुन रहे थे देवीना मेहरा की इस तरफ से, जो बता रही थी क्लियरली पीएलआई स्कीम से जिन सेक्टर्स को बेनिफिट होगा उन पर नजर रखनी चाहिए और कुछ और थीम्स जो 2022 के लिए चल सकते हैं। फिलहाल वक्त